Good evening, my fellow concerned citizens. Thank you for tuning in to the Tarnished Badge for tonight's episode, A Panacea to Police Issues. This is the third installment in my series detailing and discussing myriad of police topics. As you know, each week I will post a podcast reference a certain police topic that has relevance to your concerns. You've heard me say it before, but I am a concerned citizen just like you. I've been in this profession for over a decade and I've never seen things this bad. Although it's not pleasant to have people ask for your death, a history of events led to the vilification of police officers. Whether or not the scrutiny is deserved is not for me to decide. I signed up to protect and serve, and if citizens want answers or change, it is my job to facilitate that change any way I can. The podcast tonight will be on body cameras. They have been discussed as a very simple solution to all police issues, a panacea of sorts. This tool is heavily touted by almost everyone involved in the policing debate. Pro-police and anti-police advocates are huge proponents of implementing body cameras on every police officer as soon as possible. Now, I can't argue with some statistics that have been publicized about the effectiveness and perceived benefits of these body cams. A study and implementation plan was put together by Police Executive Research Forum in conjunction with the Department of Justice. They stated this about body cameras, quote, "They capture critical incidents and encounters with the public, strengthen police accountability, and provide a new format for evidence collection. These have the ability to increase officer professionalism, help agencies evaluate and improve officer performance, improve training, and allow agencies to identify and correct larger structural problems. They reduce complaints and officer-involved incidents. A body camera study was done in Rialto, California by the Institute of Criminology. They found a 60% reduction in officer use of force incidents who had the cameras. There was also an 88% reduction in citizen complaints. The Mesa, Arizona Police Department conducted a study and found that their use of force incidents and complaint statistics closely matched those of Rialto. The Arizona PD chief advised, quote, "It's clear that having a camera recording elevates behavior on both sides of the camera." Another positive side of body cameras is on unfounded complaints. Several executives spoke of citizens filing complaints and then seeing the footage of their interaction. They either walked out or admitted they were at fault. Which brings me to my overall concerns on body cameras. The PERF study also listed concerns and issued the following statement. The use of body-worn cameras also raises important questions about privacy and trust. What are the privacy issues associated with recording victims of crime? How can officers maintain positive community relationships if they are ordered to record almost every type of interaction with the public? Will the public find it off-putting to be told by an officer that I am recording this encounter, particularly if the encounter is a casual one? In addition to these overreaching issues, police leaders must also consider many policy issues, the significant financial costs of deploying cameras and storing data, and rules and systems that ensure body camera video cannot be accessed for improper reasons. I agree with the aforementioned statement, and my concern goes even further with case law. Law enforcement is governed by case law, such as Terry v. Ohio, which details search and seizure, along with Miranda v. Arizona, which dictates that officers read a suspect their Miranda rights prior to an interrogation. These are monumental cases that dictate how officers operate nationwide. The issues I see arising are evidentiary in value. If a police officer has a recording of anything related to a specific criminal case, the defendant has a right to that video. If that video isn't provided, it could be misconstrued as exculpatory or evidence favorable to the defendant. It could appear that the officer or district attorney is hiding something and could result in sanctions. This leads me to my stories and why body cameras are a good thing, just not right now until statewide policy is set that is clear and free from ambiguity. I've investigated numerous sex assaults, and as you can imagine, these women are being interviewed at their worst time in life. They are scared, injured, and sometimes inconsolable. Officers and nurses conduct a brief interview with the victim before an in-depth interview is done by detectives. These are not usually done on video and definitely not immediately following an attack. If body cameras are to record everything, then the jury, attorneys, anyone in the courtroom, and the suspect will get to view this. I think this re-traumatizes the victim. Some sexual predators also take great pride in seeing their victims suffer, and this video will give them more power. Right now, though, cameras are to be turned on to record anything of evidentiary value. If an officer decides not to record the victim, a defense attorney could bring up rebuttable evidentiary presumptions in favor of the suspects. This is a concern that is echoed by the ACLU, also, and not just law enforcement. One case in particular involved, we'll call her Jenny. She was most definitely assaulted, and my interview was conducted in an interview room with video and audio. This was later played in court, and Jenny was extremely uncomfortable while the suspect sneered. This could have been even worse had there been video of our interaction right after she reported the crime. The second case is somewhat hypothetical. I investigated a stolen vehicle, and while the suspect was in jail, he was provided discovery which contained the victim's information, including his address. The suspect then called one of his friends, gave him the information, and the victim got their house broken into. This isn't directly related to body cams, but was used to show that suspects use information from court proceedings to further their criminal activity. My concern comes from recording a burglary scene with the body camera. In a lot of cases, the victims haven't walked through their house prior to police arrival. I have investigated cases where victims will walk around their house checking on valuables hidden away. Well, the suspect might not have known about those locations, but he will now that I have just provided him with a video of exactly what is in a residence and where it is. So in conclusion, police officers should wear body cameras for a multitude of reasons. I just don't think it should be immediately without policy, laws, and other regulations in place. Thank you for allowing me to try and shine that tarnished badge.